What is good, everybody? Welcome into the Coach and Bro Show, the fastest growing show in all of the pro wrestling universe, as you can see, outside of the friendly confines. This week, I come to you from downtown Chicago, Illinois, just miles away from where I made my WWE debut, January 8th of 2000, right here in Chicago with none other than the Brahma Bull, The Rock. And we will talk about The Rock coming up here today on the show. Now, my partner, can't do the show without him, the greatest wrestling writer of all time. Good afternoon, Mr. Vince Russo.
Coach, when I say Chicago, that toddling town, does anybody know what I'm talking about?
I do, because I'm a musical fan, and I'm an old school fan. Yeah.
Yeah, Coach, I started this series. I started a series online, the worldwide interwebs, saying, I am so old that I remember when. Bro, it blows my mind. And I know, Coach, I'm going a little off script here because I know we're not on a stadium, and I'm not going to get to this and this and this and the coach giving me this and this. And I know I'm not going to get none of that, Coach. But Coach, what happened to Major League Baseball batting averages? Bro, if you're batting 270 in Major League Baseball today, it's the equivalent of batting 330. What happened to batting averages in baseball?
They're all too busy on social media and not working at the craft, not putting in the extra time. When I covered Major League Baseball earlier in my career, do you know that there were guys, Vince, that would do the game and then work out after the game at
Absolutely.
night? And they would take batting practice after the game. Just like in wrestling, you had guys that would practice before the matches in the afternoon. They'd be in there, they'd be running ropes, taking bumps. Oh, that's not happening anymore, which, as we know, is affecting the work rate.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And Coach, I got one more thing, Coach. I hope you don't mind me taking a little right, a little left. When I've got my friend, the coach, on here, I got to ask some questions.
No doubt.
Because, I'm 64 and I'm just getting smartened up to this. Okay. Coach, I consider you an LA guy. I consider you a California guy.
Okay? Yep.
Coach, I swear this past season, I've made friends with Giant fans in San Francisco who do podcasts.
Okay.
And they constantly want me going on their podcast.
Understood.
And they especially want me going on their podcast when the Giants lose. And I'm like, hold on. Coach, I am learning this later in life. Please tell me if all California fans are like this.
Okay.
So, the Giants lose. They get 5 hits. They can't string 2 hits together. They're swinging at ball. They suck, okay? I'm going freaking ballistic.
Okay.
I talked to my buddies in San Francisco. Oh, it's okay. It's a team sport. It all evens out at the end. It's 162 games. And I'm like, what are you guys talking about? They just crapped the bed. And then they want me to go on the show and be all nicey-nice. Coach, are California fans like that in general with their sports teams?
Well, I call it SAWFT, soft. That's exactly what they are out here. Can you imagine a New York radio station asking a diehard New York fan to come on right after they've lost 3 in a row? It would never happen. In California, they're done and they're moved on to the next thing because everything is 3 hours behind. So I get it. Very, 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 very soft.
Coach, you know who Nick Totoro is? You know John Totoro, the famous
I was actually just going to – that was going to be the guy that I brought up. I watch him every night.
I love him. Yeah. When the Yankees lose, every night he's there going out of his mind. To me, that's a fan. Bro, when you start making excuses for your sports team, you're in trouble at that point, if I'm concerned.
I love when Nick clearly has somebody with him, because you'll see the video start from his right, and he's just staring off into space, and the Yankees just lost their 4th in a row, 3-2, and he literally says nothing. And then all I see in my head, like all the things he's been in before, and he's such a typecast actor, because he's just like he is in real life.
Right.
Oh,
right. It's tremendous.
We're going to start speaking to fan. We got a lot of topics to talk about today. But if you want your voice to be heard, now, some of you like to watch on social media. Social media is down. So of course, you can watch here on our YouTube page. But how can they get a question answered and have their voice be heard, Vince?
Yeah, guys, we love you becoming part of the conversation. We really, really do, because me and Coach, we like looking at all sides of things, man. And a lot of times you guys bring a perspective that nobody else does, which is freaking awesome. So if you want to be a part of this conversation, super stickers and donations, we will pop you right up on the screen and include you in the discussion.
1,000%. And I want to start with, it's kind of a combo storyline, because whenever Pat McAfee misses any kind of time, it's always a story. And he has missed several Mondays going back to Money in the Bank. And he finally put out a statement yesterday, Vince, that he had to take some time off because he was exhausted. He said, I have been going nonstop since Dublin, Ireland last August, because he's doing Game Day on ESPN. He's doing his own daily show. And then he's doing Monday Night Raw, where he's got to fly in. Every time somebody goes, but Coach, he's flying private, I don't give a damn. This man is showing up. And so two things, Vince. He went on to say, well, I'm exhausted. I've given it everything I had. I need some time off. And fans are blasting him. Don't come back. You're an idiot. And I was reminded about how toxic wrestling Twitter can be. This man gives everything. And they're just like, yeah, just stay away.
Coach, I got to push back on you.
Push back, please.
You and I, we have a lot of experience with that. When I was looking at Pat McAfee's direct quote, this is just where my mind goes.
Okay.
When I'm looking at his direct quote, I'm envisioning him walking into Vince McMahon's, because Coach, first of all, you're going to get the glasses down here. You're going to get this, Coach, right? Could you imagine walking into Vince's office? Vince, I need to get back in touch with life. I'll be honest with you. Listen, now's a good time. It's between Money in the Bank and between. That's where my mind goes, because, Coach, we worked in a world where there was no sick. There was no sick, let alone, I just want to enjoy life. So listen, I get it. This guy is a hard-working dude. He's all over the place. I get it. But I can't help as to think of what Vince's response to that would have been.
I am very, very, unfortunately, uniquely qualified to speak on this topic. Because after 6 or 7 years, I realized if I don't get out very soon, I'm going to have the wrestling stink on me till the end of time. And you don't want the wrestling stink all over you. Now, I'm very proud of the doors that I knocked down for the Pat McAfees, the Joe Tessitors, all those guys that have gone back and forth now. It's no big deal. But I remember going to Kevin Dunn 6 or 7 years in. So this is probably 2005. And I remember saying, all right, I got 2.5 years left on my deal. I have to be prepared to be out of here in 2.5 years. So I was asking, I had a couple offers to do some baseball, some basketball. And Vince actually said yes, which I was shocked. But he also said, you're not going to miss even one single solitary day in order to do it. So when it was announced, Vince, that Pat McAfee would be allowed to do Monday Night Raw and have off from August to January to do Game Day on ESPN, there's no way Vince would no matter how talented he is, Vince never would sign up for a guy to do 7 months a year. But I also don't think that an announcer should have to be there for 50 weeks a year either. So I'm kind of caught in the middle, to be honest with you.
Well, also, though, Coach, here's where my mind went as well. So when he's ready to come back, we're going to kick Corey Graves back to the back of the car? Yeah. You know what I mean? You got to look at that, because if I'm Corey Graves now, listen, we know Corey did something they didn't like. We know they put Corey in the doghouse. We know Corey bit his tongue and spent his time in the doghouse. Corey gets out of the doghouse and now he's back on Raw, and you're going to tell him in 2 weeks, nah, bro, you're back to the doghouse?
And this is where I think people like yourself and other people have been so programmed to believe that they need to be there 52 weeks a year. I've never believed that. This is the only business that even has that opportunity or that situation. I mean, every time they go, Michael Cole's been here 28 years and he's missed 2 shows in 28 years. That's not a badge of honor for me. All I hear when I hear that is he's missed out on this, never taking a full 7-day vacation.
Right, right.
And so that's why I'm so glad, whatever the reason is, that they allowed him to do it and they're allowing him to come back. Because Vince, when I came back in 2018, I said, I'm not coming back just to do wrestling. Vince was like, yeah, no big deal. I had 5 golf events, which you guys always tease me about, already on the table. And I missed the first 2, and Vince got pissed. And he says, you know what, Renee Paquette, you're going to get the opportunity. Then he left her on there and moved me to the once a month PLE pregame show because I missed 2 golf events before I signed the deal to make sure he knew, and he did not care.
Yeah.
But I think that mindset has to change so that Corey can do 5 or 6 events outside of that 5 months when he's doing football.
I'm with you, Coach. Listen, I remember like at the height of the Attitude Era, like sitting at the kitchen table with my wife and just looking at my wife. And here's what I said: I want my life back. Really? Literally. I mean, that's what I said. So I get it, man. I totally get it. It is definitely more of a positive than a negative, in my opinion. There's no doubt about that.
And I don't know if he is going to be back at Money in the Bank, but in his statement, he basically said Money in the Bank up to Night of Champions. So we'll see if he's going to be there this Saturday. But it's interesting because we've been very vocal. We were vocal on The Last Word on Monday night that the WWE, out of an abundance of caution, should cancel that event. Not only did they not cancel it, they didn't even acknowledge a thought, Vince, to cancel it. And Monday night was an absolute advertisement for Saudi Arabia, the Riyadh season. I've kind of taken a step back. So I'm like, hey, if they don't care, I guess I don't. But I look at it from the talent's point of view. And even if it's safe, I would not want to go.
Yeah, Coach, I was reading an article this morning, and a lot of the decision to go and not even entertain the flip side of that is because they've got the Royal Rumble coming up there, and I believe there isn't another live event in Saudi between now and then. So at the end of the day, we say this all the time, Coach, this was dollars and cents. Coach, I got to be honest, with people like you and me, we don't value money the way some others do. Mm-hmm. All their value is in the almighty dollar. Really, the almighty dollar supersedes their employees. I mean, it does. And when you don't think that way, you can't comprehend it. But they've made it clear through this: money supersedes everything. Period. End of story.
I could not agree more. There's so many different angles to look at it. And as I was helping my parents pack this weekend as they're moving into a retirement village, I guess, there was a lot of talking. You know, you're packing stuff and you're talking with your mom and your dad and you're reminiscing and you're throwing out all those memories. And my mom just kept going back to all the negatives from the things I had to miss. So I remember when he made you miss this. I remember when he made you miss this. So, but I also understand when people say, well, Coach, that's what you signed up for. I understand that. It does not mean that's the way it has to be.
Yeah.
You can change it. They just chose not to. So when stuff like this comes up, it is what it is. Another person that kind of showed up out of nowhere this week, Vince, was Kevin Owens. And the WWE has a podcast with Cody Rhodes, and also the Undertaker podcast is actually a WWE-funded podcast. And they were talking about the indies. And I don't think there's ever been a time where the indies have had more power than right now. Are you surprised that they would talk about Matt Cardona when, again, in the old days, talking about a guy who's on a different company or in a different place was just no. Now they're just openly talking, which I think is cool.
You know, Coach, so much went out the window when Vince went out the window. We see it. We see it every single day. And, you know, some things I think are for the better and some things I think are not for the better. And listen, man, when we see professional, let's just use baseball as an example because there's a farm system. Mm-hmm. When we see professional baseball players talk, are they ever talking about the amateurs? They're never talking about who's in AAA, who's in AA. They're never talking about that. So like in this aspect, I'm like, I just keep telling myself, you guys are pros. Why are we talking about the independent circuit? So in this case, I don't think that is a good thing, because it's like,
Okay.
it's like
fair.
it's almost like, Coach, there's no more separation. It's like the big leagues and here. When you're now bringing them up to your level and you're having a conversation, I just feel like you're less special now. That's just my opinion.
That's fair. No, and I never thought about it like that. The other part is, how about throwing a producer at Cody? Because you can tell that the show is sit down, pour a couple of things of the sponsored tequila, and talk about whatever you want to talk about. So then that lends you to going to places that maybe you shouldn't go.
Yeah.
And they just need to get that done because it needs to get up on Peacock or whatever the case might be.
And I'll tell you some news that came out of that, Coach. And I don't know if you saw the interview or not. I did not see the interview. I was just reading comments and stuff. But apparently, Ryback felt that both of them took a direct shot at him during that interview, and he commented on it on his social media page today.
Wow, I'm gonna have to go look at that. I always liked him, but lately it feels like he feels like they're always taking shots at him. And that tends to happen when you're on the outside of a business that, let's be honest, everybody wants to be on the inside of. Yeah. And when you're not, it sucks, and you lash out. We've seen it a million different times.
I don't know what your experience is with Ryback, but everything that I've been involved in with him, I mean, that dude's a straight shooter.
Yep. No doubt about it.
Yeah, he really is. And I feel being a straight shooter has even hurt his career to a point, but to me, I believe he's a straight shooter.
Yeah, there's no question. Anybody that's ever been like him, because I've always gotten along with him. He's always great, very, very nice, all that. When you're a straight shooter and you're not an A-lister, that usually does not turn out well for you.
Absolutely.
Just the way it is. We do have a couple of, we call them small, medium, large, and super stickers here at the show. And the first one is a small sticker. Thank you, Ryan. Coach, what did you think of Bro's mullet as Vic Venom? I didn't see this one. What was this on?
Oh, I was Vic Venom was an alter ego years and years ago, and I was sporting the mullet. A very, very attractive look, Coach. I mean, regardless of what they may say.
Another small sticker.
Now, wait, hold on, Coach. Let's not move on from that one that fast.
Okay.
Did a young coach ever sport the afro? Did you have like the Darnell Hillman afro at any point in time? Here we go. Get it. I will entertain the troops. We are going to see Coach and his Darnell Hillman Dr. J afro. Let's see it, baby.
Now, we're about to get down to business.
Yes.
Now, as I was cleaning out Mama and Papa Coach's humble abode, a few things came to light. One of them was this, Vince Russo.
Okay, all right.
That's
a little mamby-pamby. Bro, boyfriend in the box is a little mamby-pamby. Look at you. Look at you.
Look how good your boy is.
Now, I want to see the Darnell Hillman. Show me the Darnell Hillman at a younger age.
Well, at a younger age, I had what my mother liked to call the flow. And the flow was this, because I'm a mix between a black and Italian man and a black woman. So I've got a little bit Italian, so my hair kind of goes. I never had locks, but I was the flow.
So wait, you got to explain this flow to me. What exactly is the flow?
The flow is when you go like this. Or if I'm talking, I'm really cutting a great promo and somebody cuts me off, you're ruining my flow. Well, when you have hair like this, it's a flow. That's what it is. Yeah. I no longer have the ability to flow. My ability is to cover up.
Coach, I got to show you something that's right here. It's right here, Coach. I just got to get it.
It's show and tell day, ladies and gentlemen. I love it here on the Coach and Bro Show.
Coach, look at this. I wrote to my hero when I was a child. He sent me this picture. which is my all-time favorite. Look at the styling and profiling on this picture.
Oh, is that the doctor?
That is the doctor.
The doctor!
He sent this to me about 1973. Look at that look. Does it get any better than that, Coach?
No, that's
Oh,
classic late 70s, early 80s. I got to tell you, I couldn't even have grown hair like that. I didn't have that much, as they say, black in me.
you
It was
had the
like,
flow, the flow.
so that is the fro. That's not
Yes,
a flow.
got you.
So, yeah, you can't have a flow on the fro. Those two things don't go together.
One of these days, you're going to have to present a picture of the flow. I need to see the flow so I can fully understand.
I can do that. I can
Okay,
do that. I already have the correct picture in my mind.
Okay.
All right. Now, Simply Awesome Sauce wants to hear us say Mamby Pamby, which you did.
Yes.
You already said Mamby Pamby, so
Yes.
we're past that.
Yes.
Then Michael Gavin of the Alley Show said, hey, guys, Tony Khan said AEW is having a successful year in 2025 with their streaming and television numbers. Do you think he's wrong with the number? I don't think he's wrong with whatever numbers he's looking at, Vince. The problem is they haven't figured out because they have their show in like 2 or 3 different places, which I've never seen before. But I would do it too. I would get as much of the show out there. I don't know if he's lying about it, but I don't think that they're where they want to be. He can say what he wants. Do you agree, Vince?
Yeah, I just wish, Coach, like man, we've talked about this. Pro wrestling is the only company, the only business stop talking. Why are we always talking about our finances? Why are we always talking? You never hear about that in professional sports. I don't understand why you have to say we're making X amount of dollars to prove to non-believers that you're successful. I just think we need to get out of that. There's no point to it.
I agree, and I got to be honest. When I was like growing up in my 20s and 30s in wrestling, I was consumed by that. But as I get a little older, I think about my mortality a little bit more. I think about what I want to get out of shows like this, brands like this, friendships that I have with all of you guys, and I never start with money. Yeah. And when I stopped thinking like that the last 6 months or a year, it's amazing all the good things that started happening.
Really is. It absolutely is, Coach. Absolutely.
All right, another medium sticker. Hitesh says, can tell from the bookings, Triple H is grooming Braun Breaker and Jacob Fatu to take the 2 top spots in the next couple of years as Cody and company are 40 plus. Do you guys agree? I think there will definitely be 2 top guys in the next couple of years. There's no question Fatu is destined. I think for Fatu, the difference between him and superstardom is how good can he learn how to talk, Vince. If he can cut good promos, I think he can be a top guy.
Yeah, I just disagree with that super sticker because when you talk about grooming and we look at Fatu compared to Braun Breaker, I think Triple H with the booking has taken steps backwards since he put Braun Breaker in with Bronson Reed. I mean, dressing the same and all. When you're dressing somebody in all black, I swear to God, Coach, I look at Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker and I'm like, this is AOP too.
It does remind you of that. Yes.
That's exactly who they were. Now Fatu, no question about it. But let's face it, man. Fatu's doing a lot of it on his own because he's damn cool. So he's doing a lot of it on his own. But man, if you're talking about grooming, I think we've taken steps backwards with Braun Breaker as far as, a push and developing him.
I think that's very fair. I also think that they should have gone no longer than 4 total weeks to set up whatever that group is going to look like. And groups in wrestling, there's some things that you need to change. There's other things that you do not. 4 always works. So to me, I would have already found a female or a guy that's not as big because you already have plenty of muscle in those 2. And then you got the leader in Seth Rollins. So I would love to have, just like what they did with Evolution several years ago with Randy Orton, you bring in a young guy, a guy that's not quite as established, maybe a Ricky Starks or something like that, to where he can get in trouble every now and then. He can stray a little bit. You snap him back in. They did that with Randy in Evolution years ago. Yeah. You remember the whole thumbs up, thumbs down thing?
Yeah.
And I would have thought they would have had it done. Maybe they're waiting, Vince, for Night of Champions for something to happen in Saudi Arabia. Pick him, and then Monday night back here in the States, they unveil the full 4.
Yeah. We shall see, Coach.
I don't know. We have a small sticker, Coach Rondadonoff, maybe a PFL breakout star. I think he means Robodonoff, I think is who you're talking about. Dominant victory last week. There's no doubt about it. So keep those super stickers going. Plenty of more topics. We record the show 2 times a week at 1 p.m. Eastern time. Also, it airs in over 100 million homes. We are on the Stadium Network, Vince and myself, Wednesday nights, 11 p.m. Eastern time, and then repeated Thursday mornings at 6 a.m. Eastern time. Now,
Coach,
Vince,
could I throw a quick topic in there?
of course.
Because if I forget, it'll be old news. Then it won't be worth talking about. Because I want to hear you. I know. Listen, bro. Working with Coach, guys. This Coach knows how to promote, PR, advertise, market. He's done a phenomenal job with himself and making a brand for himself. And you guys should learn from the Coach. With that being said, there's everybody online taking shots at Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff because supposedly they've only sold 380 tickets to a 12,000 seat venue.
Wow.
Okay. Now, Coach, listen, I've had my history with Eric Bischoff and Hulk Hogan, and I make no bones about it. I am not a fan of Eric Bischoff. I don't like the guy. I don't have a problem with Hulk. So if anybody should be jumping on that bandwagon, it should be me. Okay. I want to ask you this question because you do such a phenomenal job at this. Okay, they've only sold 380 tickets, but we really don't know what this is. We've not seen it. There's not been a pilot. We don't know what we're paying to see. Is this going to be wrestling mixed with MMA? We don't have a clue. So now you're asking people to pay money for something that more or less is experimental without us seeing a That's why you do pilots in television. If this pilot is good, we're going to continue. If this were you, Coach, how would you be promoting a show like this out the gate that nobody's sure what it is?
Well, first of all, you needed to have what we call a sizzle reel. I call it show and go. You just hit the nail on the head. You got to show them what it is because they did the rounds on all the different shows. They got on big. I think they were on the Today Show, so they got the pub that they want. My guess is, again, if you're going to quote me, get it right. My guess is that the guy in the middle is funding everything. My guess is that Eric and Hulk are not. Hulk may or may not still be in the hospital, so he hasn't even been able to promote it at all. And you don't take a brand new venue or venture and put it in a 12,000 seat arena. I think they thought, and this has been an issue with WWE and a lot of promotions, and at PFL, we do a friendly tier. You can get in, they're way up for $25. That is to get the brand out there. We looked at this after 6 years, said, we're starting over. How do we do that? Well, they truly are starting over, Vince. And I'm not talking to Eric, who I do get along with very well. Hulk, I have no time for at all. But the way they've gone about it, and also, Vince, real grappling, real wrestling is not all that exciting more than once a year when it's the NCAA championships. I don't necessarily want to see it every week. Do you?
Yeah, no, Coach, that was one of the things why I'm not an MMA fan, because when I turned into MMA early on, they were lying on each other for a minute and nothing was happening. And because of that, I never became an MMA fan. So, yeah, it just blows my mind. Listen, man, let's be honest. It's not their money. There is an investor, so it's not their money to lose. But like I said, the one thing I questioned was, why are you booking a 12,000 seat arena?
That's it. And sometimes when you get a check, and man, I almost guarantee that the guy with the money approached both of them and said, and if I was them, I would have said half of it up front. Because when you come out of the gates like this, how many times have we seen, Vince, whatever organization it is, they just shut down. There was an MMA organization that announced, we've got all the funding, we got all the money, and they announced all of these legendary names, except they hadn't talked to the legendary names yet about even fighting for them. And so they announced 2 or 3 different fight nights. I don't even remember their name because they've never done a show. But they have canceled every single show because they weren't ready. In this time, is this day and age, you've got to be ready.
Yes.
You gotta, and if you're not, this is going to happen. And I think sometimes they also, Vince, they bank on Hulk's name.
Yeah.
And why you would do that in this, watching him get booed at the everywhere he's gone, but
Yeah.
he makes a mistake, or excuse me, an excuse for the boos. I'm like, we're all really smart. We know why he's getting booed. He's
Yeah.
finally gotten exposed. Seth Rollins has in several interviews been like, I have no time for him because he's an absolute racist. And
Yeah.
that's why he's getting booed, Vince. I was
Yeah.
in the room for the bullshit apology.
Yeah, I know.
It was
Yeah.
awful. It was
Yeah.
awful. And so that's why people now, because the wrestlers are no longer scared to talk about it. And so I applaud Seth Rollins. And, I wish that the people hosting these shows would do a little bit of homework, because they keep pressing the issue on these questions and they don't know the topic.
Yeah.
And that's just laziness.
Yeah.
That's just laziness.
Yeah.
So I get riled. And out of that, he got a $2 million payday, by the way.
Yeah. Wow.
And everybody else in the room didn't even make $2 million for the whole show.
Yeah, Coach, I remember real quickly with Hulk. I'll be really, really, really brief.
Sure.
When I almost went back to the WWE in 2002, the last time I saw Hulk Hogan was at Bash at the Beach, and he sued me after that. So after Vince hired me, the elephant in the room is Hulk Hogan. And I said, Vince, how are we going to handle this? Vince McMahon looked me in the eye, and his exact quote to me was, this is 2002, Coach. Vince, I don't give a shit about Hulk Hogan. He hasn't drawn me a dime. That's what Vince said directly to me. Meanwhile, this is the guys, you got to give him credit, because this is the beauty of Hulk Hogan. And you got to give the dude credit. Fast forward, Coach, 10 years later, whatever it was, 8 years later, he gets hired by TNA. Coach, I am sitting in a room with all the USA Network executives and Eric Bischoff, because Hulk was too big to come to this meeting. And Coach, these Spike executives are talking about Hogan like he was the second coming. I swear to you. And I'm like, Vince McMahon told me 10 years ago this guy didn't draw. But that's who they're paying, Coach. That they are paying the dude who beat the Iron Sheik 35, 40 years later. And Coach, I don't know how you don't give the man credit for that he's still able to convince people I am worth millions and millions and millions of dollars.
I am blown away. And I'll also give him credit that he has the stones to either have his agent or himself ask for these paydays, and yet he gets them.
Yes.
But he's also been kind of the butt of a few jokes the last couple of years, because remember last year they were going to sell a $2 million Hulk Hogan experience.
Yes.
And after everybody laughed at it, nobody bid on it, they very quietly took it down off the auction page.
Yes.
Can you imagine some idiot paying $2 million to sit with the Hulkster?
Yes. I can. Yes, I can, Coach. Unfortunately, I can. Yes.
Oh my God. It's just, I was around him so much, and a lot of people who've never been around him, they don't understand this, and they don't understand what he was and who he is at his core. And you don't change in your 70s. And I will stand on that. Now, finally, wrestlers are speaking out, and they should. He had his time in the sun.
Yeah.
And then he just insulted anybody that was in his way.
Yeah.
And then it became racial. So I have nothing good to say about the Hulkster. All right.
Coach, somebody in the room is saying Coach looks high as F.
Really?
I mean, Coach, if you're high as F, you're working me. Coach, you high. Coach,
it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I got another show to go do for PFL.
Coach, have you been hitting that rum candy again, Coach? There it is. The rum candy. Yeah,
maybe it's this.
Coach.
I've got.
Oh, he's high on sore throat spray.
Yeah.
I knew it. It was something.
Yeah,
it was
something. I got some of these.
Oh, he's high on the menthol.
Oh my goodness! I didn't even see that. All right, we have a medium sticker. Max says, "Could we get a weekly Vic Venom segment?"
Ooh, Coach, I don't know if you personally ever want to see Vic Venom come out, Coach.
All right.
You almost got a sneak peek of old Vic yesterday, Coach, but we'll leave that alone. I don't know if you ever want to see full on Vic Venom, Coach.
Oh my God, we might have to. Now you just teased it so well. Now I'm literally thinking about every word that I say because everybody thinks that I'm high for some reason.
No, I would have never brought that up if that's what I thought. I brought it up because I thought that freaking comment was ridiculous.
Well, it's so funny too because I hate these two, Vince. I had to start reading this, so I have to go like this because now I have readers, and to me, readers equal 80-year-old men, or women, and so I can't see anything, and my phone is 2 inches away.
Well, Coach, I would bet too. I mean, if I was a betting man, I would throw some money down with all Coach has on his plate. I would doubt very much you're getting 8 hours of sleep a night, Coach.
No. To me, if I get 5 or 6, and then when I'm at home, it's 5 a.m. So I get up every day at 5 a.m. back home.
Yeah.
It's brutal. But I do it because I love it. And we're starting to really catch momentum. We have a small sticker out there from Callan Jingle. It said, can you expand how his BS racist apology went? I won't tell you word for word, but here's basically how it went. Vince had just signed the deal with Saudi Arabia. And this was the rumor that Saudi Arabia wanted him on the show. Well, at that point, he had been scrubbed from everything WWE because of being caught saying the N-word 1,000 times about his daughter's boyfriend. So it was out there. He wasn't denying it. And so then whoever was paying the money, Vince, they wanted Hulk on the show. But he wasn't a part of the WWE. So part of the deal they made, because he was going to get $2 million reportedly for one show. And so that was also a big sticking point with the talent that was in the room because you have a talent pool. And the talent pool is usually 30% or so of what the house makes. But this is different because it's Saudi Arabia. So collectively, all the big stars and everybody combined would not make $2 million on that show. Not even close. So he walked in and, he was like, hey, everybody, appreciate the time. Obviously, as we go back to that night, it was not my best foot forward. I'm kind of paraphrasing here. And then he said the line, Vince, that turned everybody off. He goes, but I had a lot to drink that night. And when he said that, everybody was done. Is that here we go, classic Hulk deflecting and blaming it on alcohol.
Yep.
And that's why since then you haven't heard one person say anything nice about Hulk, and they shouldn't. And as one of the 8 black men in the room, Vince, I remember looking at him going, my God, he is so out of touch with reality and what's really going on in the room. The word was not nearly as offensive as him trying to apologize for you.
And everybody who, just for the record, so you guys know, everybody who came out of that room said the same exact thing. Every single one of them. Yeah.
There you go. All right, Vince, we now have a date, and we have about another 7 minutes or so in the show. If you have any more super stickers or any more questions, as you can see, we will answer them if we so choose. Producer man will get them to me, and we'll answer them for you in real time. So, Vince, July 29th, that is the date that the backstage, I thought it was going to be called Unreal. I'm not sure if that's still the case, but that will be the date that we launch the Netflix WWE behind the scenes show. So we're basically 4 weeks away. How much do you think we're really going to see?
Here's where I think their problem lays. I don't think we're going to see a lot of the truth. I think what you're going to see is them trying to work the truth. Mm-hmm. And man, if you've got people working the truth that just are not good actors, you're going to know. You're going to know. It's not going to come off as sincere, and you're going to know it's a work. And Coach, they just need to be very, very careful, because you and I both know they're going to work a shoot, but if they don't do it in a convincing style, then people are going to say they're lying. And this is all make-believe. This is just another show, and this isn't what really happens. And to me, that would be the concern. It's either you do it or Vince used to tell me all the time, Coach, here's what he used to say, and I'm sure you heard this a million times. Vince, you can't be half pregnant. So if we're going to do it, we're going to do it.
All
if
in.
we're not, we're not. Right.
It's not even to me about how many shows are out there right now, because I forget. Like Rosenberg tweeted last night, he goes, "Hey, I'm calling my very first last woman standing match." I'm like, on what? Oh,
Right.
I forgot we have that show too, right?
Yeah.
And so to me, we have enough wrestling matches, and there's nothing special in a wrestling match there to tie storylines through. But Vince, the one thing that I've been standing on the last 3 months is I don't want to see how the bread is made. I want to still allow myself to say we can go this way with this storyline, or we can go this way with this storyline. And I'm afraid that doing this show, now they'll say, well, it's not going to air for 4 or 5 months after what we're shooting. I don't care. Eventually, we're going to be at a point where we expect to find out what happened and how did you make that batch? How did you make that storyline? How did you make that swerve? And if I already know, Vince, I'm going to do what we talk about all the time. I'm going to watch backstage clips. I'm going to watch clips because I'll know I can go watch the show and find out exactly without having to waste my time. And so Netflix is doing this show, though. This is their show.
Yeah. And it's funny, Coach, because part of the draw used to be, how are they going to get out of this? So in other words, when it was Hulk and Andre, what are they going to do? You know what I mean? When it was Hulk and Warrior, you never knew what they were going to do. That was part of the draw. How are they going to book this was part of the draw. Well, yes. You're taking that away now. If you're telling me how you're going to book something, why am I going to watch it to figure out how you're going to book it? I already know.
Mm-hmm. That's it. That's the problem that they're not seeing. They see it as, man, that's another show that I can sell for $10 million.
Yeah, yes.
That's what they're thinking. Because a lot of the executives, and I don't remember what show it was on, but I think it was Seth was alluding to it. And I don't know if they're supposed to be talking about this, but he said that, maybe it was Cody too, that they're trying to get the entire company, including the WWE, all the way to Las Vegas and LA. So there'd be no more WWE on the East Coast. They put that in an interview. And so to me, Vince, it's people that have never, I just don't think the executives know the business.
Yes.
And they don't know what it's all about. And they don't understand that by doing this, it's not about putting it out on the show that's called Grey's Anatomy and then some other offshoot of Grey's Anatomy. This is what the fans love. And then you got half the fans, Coach, we already know. We already know this is fake. We already know it's storyline. But it's how you get there. It's the journey, Vince. So that's got to drive you nuts when you hear somebody say that.
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, Coach, again, you hit the nail on the head, and this always comes up in our conversations. This is an entertainment company now. This, excuse me, this is not a wrestling company. And they're looking at this, like Coach said, is no big deal.
We have 2 more topics, and then we're going to get the hell out of Dodge. This one's interesting. Let's go to a super sticker first from Awesome Sauce. Let me make sure we get them right here. Thank you to all right, Awesome Sauce says, thoughts on being critical on Hogan rather than people like Lawler, Flair, Austin, Vince, who have done objectively worse stuff. Love the show, and I love the PFL. Well, Awesome Sauce, Hogan's in the news. Like, we're talking about somebody's in the news. There's a Saudi show coming up. We don't just come out and go, let's bash on Ric Flair today, or let's bash on Hulk Hogan today. It's about being topical. And right now, he's in the show. Or in the news. And speaking of in the news, Vince, this was just sent to me.
Uh-oh.
And this is on a website called sesscoops.com. Headline, Hulk Hogan to open $7 million bar opposite Madison Square
Garden. Yeah, that's been out there. That's been out there, Coach. Yeah.
First time I'm hearing about it. First time I'm hearing about it. Yeah. So if it's a $7 million bar, I always, whenever I look at something, I go, man, that had to get through a meeting, through a pitch. He's not putting up his own money for this bar. No. Have they not watched anything all the way back to the Republican National Convention? This man's an absolute pariah. I don't understand. They just want to be next to the star. Oh, I'm working with Hulk Hogan. I don't care if we lose money. I don't care if we get buried, but I'm working with Hulk Hogan.
I want to address the Awesome Sauce question real quick, Coach, because because Coach kind of hit the nail on the head. Listen, man, I'm not going to get into this. Coach and I are both Christian guys. Coach's dad is a pastor. You guys know where we stand. So what are we all about? We're all about forgiveness. That's what we're all about.
No doubt.
Bro, everybody, if you are breathing, you are going to F up in life. You are going to make mistakes. Make no doubt about it. There was only one perfect being in the history of this world. And it wasn't you, and it wasn't me, and it wasn't Coach. So you're going to F up. And I do believe in second chances, but this is what Coach was saying. The second chance is you go in front of your peers and you say, I effed up, man.
That's it.
I effed up. You don't make an excuse. That's the different awesome sauce. I swear if you went to Lawler, you went to everybody on that list, they would say, you know what? I effed up and made a mistake. And that's okay because you're not perfect. But when it's excuse on top of excuse on top of excuse, at that point, it just gets to be too much.
There's no doubt about it. And a lot of the other names, and I'll just say this, that you wrote down there, they didn't do it to all of us in the locker room. Whether you're talking about black people, an entire race, or you're talking about other people that are just good people, you can't do it. You can't do it. There's a huge difference between Hogan and everybody else. Those mistakes, whatever you're talking about, it just gets me rattled. Gets me rattled. All right. We do have one more from a new premium member. Curious, the SmackDown numbers drop when they're live but out of the country. Internet, especially X, will tell us everything before it even airs. It's going to be interesting next week, Vince, because they're doing Raw and SmackDown in the same building on the same night. And anytime we ever did a double dip, man, it was dead by the time you started that second show.
Oh yeah, the old TV tapings in Hershey, Pennsylvania, Coach. I was at one or two of those. Yeah, bro. When you're on hour 4, it's just time to go home.
It really, really is. For Raw, just do 2 hours. You don't got to do 3. You can control it. It's okay. SmackDown, I don't want to see 3 hour SmackDown.
Yeah.
Raftman says, Vince, is it true you created the Brawl for All just to see JBL get beat up?
I did. Let's say to see JBL put his money where his mouth is. Let's say that, not to see him get beat up.
There you go. There's a difference. There's a difference.
Coach, Awesome Sauce was paying money to hear me sing. We can't shortchange Awesome Sauce.
Okay, I mean you're the giver. Okay. You are the giver. Let's hear it.
He paid money because he wants me to do. Mamby, Pamby, Mamby, Pamby. Yeah. There you go, Awesome Sauce. You got
there you go, Awesome Sauce. Yeah. You ask, you shall receive. By the way, Vince, you always tease me about how spoiled I am. We've come to the end of the show.
Here we go.
You know what is waiting at my door?
Unbelievable. What is that? Sushi? Is that sushi today?
No, it's not sushi. You know, I went a little different. I got the fried chicken with broccoli today. And they just bring it up and they, put it in my door. I'm just going to walk over there when I get off the air and I'm going to eat my lunch. And then I've got 3 more shows to do today. I'll be on ESPN Plus tonight, Vince. How about that?
Did you say fried chicken?
Yeah, they fry the chicken and then they fry it. It's called chicken fried chicken.
Oh, no. I guess only the big shooters. Listen, us regular people, Coach, we eat fried chicken. People don't fry the chicken for us twice, shooter. Okay? Man, big time Coach. You guys know. Has anybody out there ever had their fried chicken fried twice? No. Unbelievable.
Well, on that note, Vince, it is time for me to go. Oh, but alas, I need to eat my lunch and then get ready for ESPN Plus. All right, we do this show twice a week. Me and Vince, every single Monday and Thursday, we live record around 1 p.m. Eastern time. You can be a part of it. We're growing every day. Vince, have a great weekend, sir. Enjoy. I know you're going to be doing a live Night of Champions watch along, aren't you?
All right. On that note, Shooter, we will see you all on Monday, I guess.
See ya. Really. See ya. Boom.